This is Tyrese Haliburton, and you're listening to Setting the Pace.
What is up, Pacer Nation? Welcome back to another episode here of your go-to Pacers podcast, Setting the Pace, brought to you by the good folks over at Chat BCC. And ladies and gentlemen, your Indiana Pacers are up 2-0 on the New York Knickerbockers, and they win this one 114-109 behind a career high from Pascal Siakam, 39 points. Facci, the Pacers do it again, and my oh my, they've only lost one road game in the playoffs so far this year.
It's unbelievable. I'm not saying that I'm surprised, but I'm thrilled. I'm thrilled that they handled business. You've now gone into the Garden the last three playoff times, last three playoff games, and you've won in the Garden. I don't want to hear anyone say, can this team win on the road? Because we heard that coming into the series. I can't remember which analysts were saying they can't win in the Garden. They obviously don't remember Game 7.
It
But
was
here we go.
Keyshawn Johnson, football player who
It
doesn't
was
pay
such a
any
bad take.
attention.
It was such a bad take. I couldn't even remember who said it. That's how bad it was. But this Indiana Pacers team up 2-0, and I said it before, the only ever time they had been up 2-0 in a conference finals, they went to the NBA finals in 2000. So here we are looking at it once again. Man, our odds, they're kind of in our favor now.
Well, let's talk about those odds because I do have two interesting stats to throw out at you here, Facci. And the first and
Boom.
foremost, the New York Knicks have never been down 2-0 in a series when they've been the home team in the
Yikes.
series. So they've never been down 2-0 in a playoff series. Now, that is off of a Twitter account, so I do not know how factual that is, but I did share that today. And then, according to Land of Basketball, this was shared in Reddit. No team has ever come back from down 2-0 in the conference finals or the NBA finals after losing games 1 and 2 at home. Every 2-0 comeback in the conference finals or NBA finals was achieved by the lower seeded team. 11 instances, most recently Milwaukee in 2021. Overall, teams are 33 and 414 in series where they go down 2-0. Facci, if we like numbers, the numbers are saying the Pacers are on the doorstep of the NBA finals.
Usually some big numbers, they could scare me a little bit. But the Pacers, they've been on the other end of these like defying type of things. And I just feel like this team knows how to close. They know how to they're not playing with their food. They came out early in this game. They were up 10-0. They're not 10-0. They were up by 10 is what I meant. And then the lead went down, but you can't kill them. No matter what it is, when the game gets close, they find a way. They get better as the game goes on. And we're seeing their opponents, it's not the same thing for that. And it's just now, you're telling me that 92.6% of the time when a team goes up 2-0, they get the job done? How could I not be ecstatic hearing that type of stat? So right now, it's pretty magical to be a Pacer fan because you're talking about the next two are in Indiana. And at worst, if you split, you're still in a good situation. You're talking about being up 3-1, and we know those odds ain't good either. So I just feel like, man, this is a team that obviously, hey, would it be magical to close out at home? Yes, we're getting a little bit ahead of ourselves. But you and I, we said Pacers in 6. Did we underestimate this team?
Hey, I did last time. I said Pacers beat the Cavs in 7. I said they'd beat the Bucks in 6. So I don't know. Maybe I'm just respecting the opponent too much and not giving the
I guess
Pacers enough
so.
credit because look, this is a team now, Facci, that is 44 and 16 since January 1st. 44 and 16. Unbelievable. And let's just look at some of these statistics here, Facci, from Pascal Siakam. 39 points on a ridiculous shooting number here. 15 of 23, 65.2% from the field. He was 66.7% from 2 and 60% from 3. Breakdown of the quarter scoring here, Facci. 16 points in the first, 7 in the second, 9 in the third, and 7 in the fourth. He just constantly kept coming over and coming at you and coming at you and coming at you, and they had no stop for him. And look, the Pacers needed to ride the coattails of Pascal Siakam early on in this game because they were really struggling to find some offense early on in that first quarter. But Pascal Siakam said, "Look, I got you guys. He was due for a game, Facci. We have been begging Pascal to have one of these breakout moments. We've seen a little bit of this, flashes of this, but we've never seen this, and there's a reason why it's a career high. But he was having his way with everybody tonight. Didn't matter who the Knicks were putting on him. And we've heard a lot about OG Anunoby, really good defender on Pascal, knows him from his days in
Sure.
Toronto. It doesn't matter if you know what he's going to do if you can't stop him.
No, the way that Pascal Siakam, answered the bell for what you, me, and all Pacer fans were asking for. I mean, it was crazy. I felt like a small child that just climbed on his back and just said, "Take me to the promised land, Pascal," because from start to finish. That's what he did. What he had, what was it? I think it was our first 11 points of the game. He had I think 16 in the first quarter, like you said. He just kept going throughout the game. Anytime the Pacers went away from Siakam for a little bit, I was like, you got to get him touches because this man is in the zone. This is the type of performance I think we will look back for years and say the Pascal game. Like Indiana has no business being in this game early on if it wasn't for Pascal. At one point, I think at halftime, he had like 21 points and the Pacers might have had 29 or it was pretty close. Like I took a screenshot because I thought this was really good. So Pascal Siakam at halftime had 23 points. The rest of the Indiana Pacers had 26. He was 9 of 14. The Pacers were 11 of 29. It was like he had four free throws. The rest of the team had zero.
Yeah.
He was the team for the first half, and we obviously know he didn't fade away in the second half, which we've seen happen at times during the regular season where they go away from him. That would have been a big mistake. Tonight, Pascal Siakam was better than advertised. When they made that trade for Siakam to get, whether you want to call it a number 2 or a number 1, a 1A, 1B, whatever label you want to put on him, he was that and more tonight.
This right here is why you trade for Pascal Siakam.
Yes.
And that is why I said that in the opening intro of our podcast. You don't trade for Pascal Siakam just because you want to be a good team. No, you trade for Pascal Siakam because you want to be a great team. And look, while I'm not a fan of Draymond Green really being on the TNT set there, talking with them and their post-game stuff, when he has to talk about the Pacers, I think it's more interesting because he has to say good things about them after they win back-to-back games. So he said, out of all the people he's had to guard, he felt like he's only lost his defensive matchup twice in his playoff career. He said this past round against Julius Randle and back against the Toronto Raptors, guarding Pascal Siakam, he had no answer for him. He said Pascal kicked his butt in that NBA Finals run. And so tonight, Pascal Siakam was just unbelievable, Facci. And I mean, I don't even know how to describe it, but there were so many great things that he did. One of my favorite plays he did is he got the ball in the post. He made a quick spin move to the right. And all of a sudden, he sees Mitchell Robinson coming over. So he pump fakes Mitchell Robinson, gets in the air. He waits for the contact, hits the layup. Now, he doesn't make the free throw on this one, but still, it was just little things like that. He was just calculating how they were going to defend him, and he found some spots on the floor where he felt very confident, and it was just barbecue chicken left and right on everybody. I mean, Pascal Siakam is just like, we see this and we don't get it enough. And if you go back and look at the regular season, like Pascal was doing this all the time in the first half, but never in the second half, or never in the first half and then do it in the second half. We got 2 great halves from Pascal Siakam, 23 in the first half, 16 in the second half. That is exactly how you win these type of games and these tough environments on the road. Pascal Siakam just carried the load for this team.
I said last time, I'm like, look, we don't need game 1 and game 2 against the Bucks. Last year, Siakam was dropping like 35 and 37. And then he went, you know what? I'll give it to you anyway. That's literally what he did. He just served us up on a platter. That type of win that, like, look, if Indiana loses this game, and it was a very close game throughout the game for the most part, and it's 1-1, you feel a little bit divided. You feel still good. Like the Pacers could probably get this done. This type of performance by Pascal Siakam is something that propels you to absolutely believe that why couldn't we win a championship? This team can dig deep, and guys like, look, Haliburton didn't have it in the first half. He did not. I think he was 1 of 7. You know, you weren't getting anything out of Mathurin. You weren't getting anything out of Turner. I think Neesmith was like 2 of 2. It was Pascal Siakam throwing this franchise on his back and carrying us to be able to keep us within 3 points at halftime. And then you had everybody step up in the second half. And that's what makes us a team. This isn't ISO ball. This isn't 1, 2 guys. This is a team. Pascal did the heavy lifting. Everybody else picked up the slack in the second half.
Yeah, I mean, it's a great point. I mean, obviously, Tyrese did not have a great statistical game, but if you look at the overall box score, I think you have to feel pretty encouraged with it. 14 points, 11 assists, 8 rebounds.
Yep.
I felt like too often there. And honestly, let's be real. He was a -2 in the plus-minus column. I felt like with Tyrese, a little bit there at the end, they got too involved in trying to get Jalen Brunson on the switch instead of just playing basketball. And I don't mind doing that every once in a while, but maybe let's throw some different actions in there. They finally got Pascal a touch in the post, and I don't think he made the shot. It was a tough contest that he missed there when the Knicks were on their little comeback that they had there to kind of close that gap, and the Pacers got the lead at the 10. But yeah, I felt like honestly, been very critical, or at least I've been very critical, and I have not liked what I've seen from Myles Turner so far this series. Quarter one was great, but Facci, he had a great fourth quarter, 13 points in the fourth quarter, has the volleyball tip 12 times before he finally gets the rebound on the big possession where the Knicks missed a shot. He gets fouled, finally hits both of his free throws when he goes to the free throw line, and he puts the game out of reach with a 5 point lead. I mean, honestly, like Myles Turner, I thought he was fantastic in the fourth quarter.
He was, and he deserves his flowers because I was getting antsy. I don't know why Turner left and went to the locker room. I don't know if he was having stomach pains or whatever it may have been. I'm not sure if that really got, confirmed or clarified.
What were we seeing out there? That he had to poop? That he had to pee? That
I think everybody was thinking, I'm pretty sure he's got to poop. I don't know. Turner goes to the locker room. They didn't really make a big deal of it. I couldn't find anything on Twitter. And then I see we're getting a healthy dose of Tony Bradley. I saw Thomas Bryant was grabbing his hand or his wrist or something, his finger at one point, and I'm just like, we need Myles Turner. We need this guy. And it was nowhere to be found from the first half. The third quarter, all right, you're still wondering, like, what's the deal with Turner? But you mentioned that what he did in the fourth quarter, this is why Turner is so essential to the success of this team, was he was hitting shots. He made those are huge free throws. I mean, 5 of 7 from the line. Hey, great. Honestly, it's a whole nother point that we'll get into about the missed free throws. But Myles Turner down the stretch was exactly who you needed him to be. And if he had 16 points in the game, great. But to be able to do it in like the fourth quarter, essentially, where you pretty much had the bulk of your scoring, that was really what helped Indiana propel ahead and have that cushion of a lead, because the lead at one point was 9, 10 or so, and then it would dwindle down. But Turner was there each and every time to be able to keep the Pacers afloat.
Yeah, and I mean, let's talk about this. Karl-Anthony Towns stuck on the bench for the majority of the fourth quarter. They're
Crazy.
playing Mitchell Robinson. And look, Tibbs might have to make a starting lineup change. I know every Knicks
so.
podcast I've been listening to, they have been begging. This is a mediocre starting five. And I felt like I was telling my friend tonight when I was watching the game with him, David, I was like, look, I just feel like whenever Mitchell Robinson and Deuce McBride are out there, they're a better team.
Yes.
And the numbers provide that. I mean, the starting lineup has just not been very good. I think Josh Hart might need to go to the bench. I don't think he's really providing much for them. And I feel like Mitchell Robinson, like it gives them a nice element out there. But I do think that the Pacers are just going to continue to find ways to attack that. Like they finally did the hack a Mitch in there at a time.
And it worked.
They had to go back to Cat. And, Cat can be a threat because he's such a good three-point shooter. I don't know if he made a three during that stretch. I think he might have, but I can't remember. It's just not seeing Cat on the floor. I felt better about the Knicks offense. It was very isolation heavy with Jalen Brunson. And then at times you see Mikal Bridges out there doing some stuff. But other than that, I didn't feel super nervous about what the Knicks were going to do offensively. So to me, it was just really solid for Indiana. And I think Myles Turner made them pay by having Mitchell Robinson out there, because this is a guy that wants to play help side, wants to protect the rim. And now you have Myles Turner dragging him out. We saw Obi Toppin do it last game. Myles Turner does it this game. It's just like you said, we are a team. We're not dependent upon one player. You have different guys that step up every single time. Pascal was not the go-to guy last game, and he was this game. So it's just the Pacers can beat you from so many different angles. And I'm sure you want to touch on this, so I'll let you do that before I bring up my next point.
Yeah, but just like, I mean, Karl-Anthony Towns was the player that, obviously Brunson is the guy that I fear the most, but we were like, we have a cat problem. Like, Karl-Anthony Towns has killed the Pacers this year. And the fact that he was essentially unplayable in the second half. I mean, second half, I was getting texts from Knicks fans being like, if I see Cat out there one more time, I'm going to freak out. And it's like, this is a guy that was just named an all-NBA player. Like, this is...
Yeah.
This is like one of your featured guys that have helped get you this far. But yeah, he was a minus 20 in this game. And at times it was worse. And the crazy part is, he was a minus 20. OG was a plus 5. Brunson was a plus 4. It was Cat that was unplayable for the Knicks. I felt like he could not, he was a turnstile defensively for New York. And I loved every second of it. And yeah, they are going to have to make some changes. And now we're going to see, like, okay, look, we saw last year, oh my God, we brought his name up, who started killing us game 6.
Alec Burks.
Alec Burks. We saw when Tibbs made that change, it paid off. So I do fear that a change is coming, because we saw Josh Hart, who's typically the Iron Man.
DeLon Wright, baby, I'm calling it.
Every single minute, and he's looking on the bench, looking all sour and all this. He might be going to, the bench. So I would imagine, yeah, they probably do bring Deuce in at minimum, and they're not going to take Cat out of the starting lineup. But yeah, you're right. Mitchell Robinson has added them a big boost. He's contesting for all rebounds, giving him second chance opportunities. And I think the Knicks just actually look better with him out there. And that's something that you wouldn't think to say when you're talking about Karl Anthony Towns, but I'll take it all day.
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't be opposed if the Knicks started Mitchell Robinson. I mean, if I'm a Knicks fan, I'm probably asking for that to be the case. Take Josh Hart out, put Mitchell Robinson in, bring Josh Hart, Deuce McBride off the bench, try to change things up. You obviously can stagger some minutes there with Cat and Robinson, but like, yeah, I mean, Mitchell Robinson's been really good. He hurt that ankle, and we saw how much that hindered him a little bit. But Facci, let's just, I think we might have gone too far, but maybe not. I just feel like at this point is the perfect time to bring up two individual players that played way above their pay grade, way above their expectations for your Indiana Pacers, and that's Ben Sheppard and Tony Bradley. The minutes that those two players provided tonight for the Indiana Pacers were unbelievable. Ben Sheppard hit two massive threes in this game, Facci, and they looked beautiful. I mean, just not even just the three-point shots that he made, the defense that he played on Jalen Brunson. I know that Pacer fans cringe and they quiver and they hover down whenever he goes to check into the game. But my goodness, this playoff experience he got last year is paying dividends because he looks so good out there, so comfortable. And then let's talk about a guy that has not played meaningful basketball in weeks and months. Tony Bradley going out there and putting up a brick wall against Mitchell Robinson, looked like the best Pacer big man that could bang body for body with Mitch Rob, went out there, was effective in the game, did not hurt the Pacers one bit. And I think he actually had a positive plus minus. He was a plus one out there on the court. So Ben Sheppard was a +8. Those two guys tonight, oh my goodness. I think we should just go ahead and give them both the Feisty Foster Award tonight.
I think so, because now I believe that Ben Sheppard was, I want to say +14 last game in 11 minutes, and now he's +8. And we remember Ben Sheppard led us in plus minus last year in the playoffs, which is like the craziest thing. But like, hey, he's played really well, and I know that he played really rough in the regular season. But like, all you got to do is play your best in the playoffs. And right now, when he hit that first three, I was like, okay, all right. Shep hit it. Anything could happen. And when he hit the second three, I was like, wow, now the confidence is back. He's got the confidence. We have the confidence in him. Fantastic. Tony Bradley, I'm not going to lie, I was nervous. When you saw him come on, I'm like, this is Tony Bradley essentially coming off the couch. Like, he has not been out there in a while. And those were emergency minutes. And we've talked about that before, basically with, Thomas Bryant, where it's like, hey, it's only going to be a couple minutes, but if you can play well for 3 minutes at a time, like, it could be big. In a situation where Turner was dealing with whatever he was dealing with, and Thomas Bryant, I saw him grab his hand. Like I said, I don't know exactly what necessarily it was. He only played 4 minutes and was a -9. Tony Bradley coming in there and giving us those 8 to 9 minutes was very underrated. And I think that those guys, it just feels like, hey, the Pacers bench, it's not always sexy, but there was guys that were able to step up. And you look at that Knicks bench, and sometimes you don't really know what you're getting. And I think tonight, hey, there's a lot of guys that had their hand in this win.
Yeah, I mean, Thomas Bryant, to me, did not look good in the minutes he played. He was a -9 out there when he was on the floor, and the Pacers had a pretty big lead early in the first quarter, and then we put the bench in, and that's when the Knicks were able to kind of take that lead away. So, yeah, Thomas Bryant, I thought when I saw him, it looked like he had something wrapped around his hand. It might have just been a towel. I'm not trying to report anything. It just looked like he just had something wrong with his hand, and so they didn't put him back into the game. And we haven't really seen Rick do that yet. We have not seen him go to Tony Bradley over Thomas Bryant, other than like maybe like at the end of, like a half or something like that in the regular season. He put Tony Bradley in for like a rebound on a free throw or something like that. Like that was the extent.
I remember
of it,
that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it was just real weird. It's not like we've seen Tony Bradley in the rotation.
I trust Rick. How could you not trust Rick Carlisle at this time?
The plot Rickens, baby.
He's a magician. He's doing everything right. Like every single time anybody counts him out, Rick Carlisle is running laps around Tibbs right now.
Oh my God.
And it is just magical.
Just think about this. The Milwaukee Bucks would have had Rick Carlisle if they didn't win the championship in 2021. They were going to fire Mike Budenholzer. They keep Budenholzer. Now look at what they've gone through. And look, Rick Carlisle is just running the Eastern Conference now as the best coach in the East. I'm sorry. There's just no question about it. Like, the talent that Rick Carlisle has on his roster is very talented. Yep. Would I say that it is more talented from top to bottom than some of the other rosters? I mean, they're up there in the top 3, top 4, but still, they're not counted out. I mean, they're not counted on by a lot of different people. They're counted out more than they are counted on or like believed in. So I just think he has made every single player so much better. And it's just the whole entire coaching staff. And I could just rave about the coaching staff every time, but this is what drives me nuts every time you get on Twitter during the regular season and everybody wants Rick to be fired.
I
It's
hate
like,
that.
it's just like this guy knows what he's doing. Like you said, he's running laps around Tibbs. And,
Yes.
and clearly, I mean, Tibbs looks so confused out there sometimes. It's like, what do I go to? Oh, I got to go back to the same thing, going back to the well to get the same stuff. Tibbs is stubborn. That's what it
Yeah.
is.
Oh,
And
definitely.
Carlisle, Tibbs? You think Tibbs would be playing Tony Bradley or Ben Sheppard in a game
Not
like
at
that?
all.
There is
Not
no
at all.
chance. And that is where Rick Carlisle deserves, a tip of the cap to because of what he's doing. So I love everything about this. And look, the balls, the guts to not play Mathurin in the second half. I mean, come on now. Ben Mathurin has not been good in this series so far through the first two games. I
He
have
has
been
not.
trying to beat the drum for Mathurin, saying they're going to need him. He's going to break out one of these games. And he still might do that, Facci. But
Possible, but
more and more we see him, the less important he becomes to what this team's overall success is. And that's not a knock on him to me personally. It's just sometimes I think when you see other players step up like Ben Sheppard got his minutes in the second half and he deserved them. He was better than him. And
did.
so I just, it's just one of those things where Mathurin, like he's kind of like a wild card. He might be able to give you something. But man, when he's just standing in the corner and letting Campaign guard him and not doing anything, it's really hard to justify giving him minutes over Ben Sheppard.
Ben Sheppard right now is safe. He's safe. And I know sometimes safe isn't always, maybe the sexiest option or anything like that. But like Ben Sheppard right now is someone that is going to defend really hard. Hey, if it's an open three, you feel, I would like to say pretty confident that he could hit it. He's a really good 3-point
How
shooter.
far we've come.
We've come far. I wouldn't have said that maybe yesterday. All right, look, I'm saying it today. I'm saying it right now after what I saw. My confidence in Ben Sheppard is back. And I just feel like right now with Mathurin, yeah, it's got to be rough. And sometimes there might be other matchups or times where Mathurin is maybe the better guy that you want out there. But right now in this series, the way it's been down the stretch, really close games, Ben Sheppard has been the better option to play really good defense. Don't make any boneheaded plays or anything like that. Just play smart basketball. And I feel like that's exactly what he's done. Is anyone saying that Ben Sheppard's a better player than Ben Mathurin? No. But we're saying when it's the playoffs and every possession is absolutely crucial, Ben Sheppard has made the smart plays, the smart defensive plays that you don't even see, that won't show up on a box score. He's been very reliable.
Ben Sheppard is a better defender than Ben Mathurin. That's just
right.
point blank. That's fair to say. I mean, and there's a reason why. Like he makes Brunson work. I don't love Sheppard's defense. Trust me. There are a lot of times out there where I'm like, ooh, Shep, you're getting cooked out here.
Yeah.
It feels
no
like you're
doubt.
trying really hard, but you just can never be in the right spot at the right time. And then all of a sudden, you see him going there against Brunson, and you're just like, oh man, Nemhard and Neesmith just have no answer for him. How is Shep going to do? And it's just like Shep just goes in there, and he's just a fresh body with fresh legs, and he's getting a little bit worn down, Brunson. Not like Brunson's bad. I'm just saying, but
Brunson, tough shots
I
tonight.
know.
Tough.
But that's the thing.
With
The shots that he's
fantastic
making,
defense. Yeah.
yes, they're playing great defense on him. They're making him take difficult shots, and he's making them. But if that's the majority of their offense, and Cat's sitting on the bench, and it's like, okay, who else are we going to go to? Like load up. Like there was one play I was like, come on, Neesmith, you cannot leave Jalen Brunson open. The Pacers got beat trying to like crash on the offensive or the defensive glass where the Knicks got an offensive rebound. They were kind of in scramble mode and they were trying to get out there and switch. And for some reason, Neesmith was kind of caught in between Brunson and Bridges, and he left Brunson to go get Bridges, and all of a sudden Toppin just stayed in the corner and didn't even go over to Brunson. And I'm just like, Neesmith, just let Bridges shoot the three. Like you cannot let Brunson get a wide open look. That's just the worst option. You got to pick your poison there. But if that's the nitpicking I have in this game, I mean, come on. I mean, this to me right here, like from everything I watched, like the Pacers did not play a great game once again. It was a Pascal Siakam masterclass, and everybody just kind of piled in as the game went along. And I think that's how the Pacers are going to keep winning this series. They're just going to wear them down, Facci, over and over and over again. By the end of the third, the Knicks looked absolutely gassed. It's almost like they needed an oxygen tank for every single one of them on the sideline because the Pacers were ready. They're ready to go. Like fourth quarter, they're ramped up. Like TJ McConnell's out there ready to go, make some mid plays. Like I don't know. I just feel like I was really kind of worried about this Knicks team making this more of a series than I thought it could be. And all of a sudden, the Pacers just showing everybody why they have been one of the best teams in the league since January 1st and why they are this close to reaching the NBA Finals once again.
It's just, I've said it before, but you gotta say it again. Everybody has to put the respect on the Indiana Pacers because I'm in too many of these group chats with all my friends being Knicks fans, and they're like trying to discount the Pacers at all given times. Like, oh, we're just playing bad or this or whatever. You guys aren't even that great of a team. I'm like, where do you get that from? Where do you get that from? Because this is a really good team. This is a team. The ball swings around more than just about any other team in the NBA playoffs. Like we said, they're not relying on someone. Okay, Tyrese Haliburton didn't have it going on. Okay, but Siakam did. Okay, Turner didn't have it going on early on. Who's going to pick it up? All right, Haliburton, put in 8 or 9 points. I think it was in the third quarter. Like, Aaron Nesmith, obviously we talked about Nesmith in game one where he just went bananas. It's like guys taking turns, but you look at this once again, Indiana Pacer basketball, 6 players scoring in double figures. Like 6. I mean, look, the bench didn't really do a great job tonight. Like you didn't have those explosive type of performances, but they did what they had to do. A couple plays here and there. TJ McConnell had some moments. We already talked about Mathurin. We talked about Tony Bradley. We talked about Ben Sheppard. Like Obi Toppin in game one was huge. He was. He didn't have a great impactful game in game two, and that's all right because he's not going to be someone. Like I said earlier, I said, okay, Obi Toppin gave us 10 rebounds in game one. When's that going to happen again? And that's not a knock on him, but it's like he had 2 rebounds tonight. He's not a 10 rebound guy, but he stepped up in game one. And I feel like for now, 31 points from Tyrese in game one. Hey, just 14, in game two. He will be better at home. He will.
He's better on the road usually. He's not as good at home.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, even the beginning of the year, wasn't it the opposite? Wasn't he like atrocious on the road and great at home?
Yeah, but I feel like in the playoffs he is better on the road. He just he relishes in that environment. He can't stand. He likes to be the heel. He cannot stand being the babyface.
He was walking back. He gave like a little wink and like a finger to someone on the sideline. I was like,
no cap.
Yeah, exactly. He was basking in the moment. All that. I mean, really, he lived that up. But I just feel like, man, this team right now, it's like if they were able to survive a game like this, where look, they weren't bad, but like they missed 6 free throws in what I knew was a close game, and that was killing me a little bit because you're not going to hit them all. But I just felt like it's like, come on, like you can't miss these free throws. But they made them when they needed them. Aaron Nesmith, cool as can be, hitting those 2 free throws down the stretch.
When is he not in the clutch?
Dude, he's been just so clutch. I mean, you're talking about a 90% free throw shoot. Remember, 50, 40, 90. I wish he qualified because I would love to be like putting billboards up in Indiana about it. But he hits those free throws down the stretch. Turner hits the free throws down the stretch. What did the Knicks do in game one? They didn't hit the free throws down the stretch. And if you miss 1 or 2 free throws, it's a totally different game because we saw at one point the Knicks, they needed a 3, they had to settle for a 2. Now you got a foul, things like that. Or at the end, the Pacers were up by 5, and it's just like, let them score. Let them score. There's nothing they can do right now. So I thought the Pacers made the plays they needed to make down the stretch. That shows the maturity of this group.
I totally agree, Facci, and I've got another stat for you here that I think you're going to absolutely love from Greg Harvey at Between the Numbs. NBA teams to go up 2-0, both road wins multiple times in a single postseason. It has been done twice. The 2025 Indiana Pacers and the 1995 Houston Rockets, who won the NBA title. That is it.
That's unbelievable. I mean, look, though, that Rockets team is one of the greatest underdog teams, that anyone's seen. So that's.
Would you call that the Pacers this year?
I would. I really do feel it because I'm pretty sure that Rockets team is like a 5 seed. I know at least one of those years they were 5 or 6 seeds. So probably that same year, obviously they won 94, 95. So that's great. I love that type of comparison. But yeah, what we just did to be able to beat a team in game 1 and game 2 on the road in the playoffs in any series is really tough. To be able to do it against Cleveland and then the New York Knicks is just. It is. I don't. Like I said, I don't want to say surprising, but I'm stunned. I'm impressed. I'm sitting back going like, this team is better than what we give them credit for. Like, look at this. Look what Turner did down the stretch. Turner finished this game as a plus 17, and we're out there for a while being like, where's Turner? Where is he? just what he did. It's like, man, I love the fact that he's been here through it all and he's made big moments. Like hit a huge three against Cleveland to kind of close out one of those games, hit the free throws down the stretch, the big fourth quarter. It's just like, man, the way they've assembled this team and the way that they love playing together. Everyone's seen the clip. Game one, OG and maybe it was Josh Hart or someone. They're arguing, down on the
Towns. It was Towns. He wouldn't even
with
look at
Towns.
him.
Yes, they're arguing. That's not chemistry. You look at this Pacers group, and man, and when we had on from Knicks Fan TV, our guest Andrew, I asked him, but how's the chemistry?
He's from Knicks Film School.
Knicks Film School. Sorry, I said, how's the chemistry with this group? Because it's a good starting five, but they haven't played together very long. You threw them together, and that doesn't always mean chemistry just because you have talent. What we have is talent and chemistry.
Yeah, I mean, and that's why when Aaron Nesmith came on this podcast last year in the offseason, he said, I hope the front office keeps us together. Do not trade this. Don't break this team up. We have something special. And they said if we would have beat Boston, we would have beat the Dallas Mavericks in the NBA Finals.
I believe it.
I mean, last year, I don't know if they would have, just because last year they don't feel like they're at this level.
Yes, I agree.
This year, they've got a healthy Tyrese Haliburton. They've got another year of development and chemistry under Pascal Siakam. Nembhard and Nesmith are playing out of their minds. And then Myles Turner, I think he has stepped up his game. Honestly, the bench, I mean, if we're going to be honest, the bench has been terrible in this series.
Yes.
It has been, in spite of the bench not giving the Pacers the advantage that everybody talks about, their depth is nice. Like we talked about, like having depth makes a difference. But their depth has not, it's not been carrying them. It's just kind of been staying afloat. They haven't sunk completely. And I think that's what's kind of helped the Pacers be able to pull both games out because let's be real. Like if this bench was like not doing, at least what they're doing now, there's a good chance the Pacers don't win this game. Like you have to have some bench production, right? It can't be like nothing. And so McConnell has been really the most consistent. Toppin was pretty good last game, but not great this game. So, the Mathurin that you were hoping Knicks, get something from him has not been great. Thomas Bryant's minutes have been pretty rough. And other than that, like the bench has not developed or delivered, I should say, the points and stats you're expecting from them, especially against the Knicks bench. But then again, the Knicks really only playing 3 bench guys, so they're having 2 starters that they're at the same time. And I felt like that could be a problem for Indiana's bench matching up with the Knicks bench only because the Knicks rely more on their bench guys that play versus what the Pacers do. But still, I think that Indiana starters have just been head and shoulders above what the Knicks have been in these first 2 games.
No, they really have, but it's also just the fact that it's like the Knicks don't trust anybody. They're playing 8, and I feel like they don't want to play Cameron Payne. I feel like Cam Payne has to be out there because look, they need someone to give him 9 minutes. He played 9 minutes in game 1. He played 9 minutes in game 2. Clearly, they need we need one guy to be out there to give Brunson some sort of break. And I feel like for right now, while the Pacers bench hasn't been good, there hasn't been guys that have been like, man, this guy's been just like downright awful. And I feel like the bench will be better, but now it's also just that depth that's wearing down the Knicks as the game goes on. And that's why it's important. You got guys like Ben Sheppard who have fresh legs down the stretch. Tony Bradley gave us some good minutes tonight. Obi Toppin, obviously we talked about great minutes in game 1. McConnell has his spurts. So I feel like Mathurin's due to have a better performance. I feel like Obi Toppin will have a better performance. I think we saw probably what we're going to see out of Tony Bradley. I don't think this is going to become like a thing. But look, he played well. He played well. Good. Hey, great. If we don't see you again, I definitely appreciate the 8 minutes that you gave us tonight. So I just feel like right now this starting group, they're in the zone. They're playing really well together. And obviously, if Haliburton's going to struggle scoring, hey, 11 assists to 1 turnover. Let's just talk about Haliburton at one point drives to the rim. He's got 2 guys on him, and he makes the smart kicks out, throws it across his body all the way to Turner for a wide open 3. And I'm like, that's my point guard. Yeah. My guy is not going to just put up bad shots just to put up bad shots in traffic. He's going to find the guy with the best possible shot, and that was Turner, who, to no surprise, swished that 3. So
I mean, there was multiple times he had guys just like hung midair. Like there was one in the first quarter, I think, where he had Mikal Bridges frozen and he was able to get Turner for a wide open dunk, I think it was. And so it's just little things like that. Like he just knows how to put the ball on a rope and just play rope-a-dope with everybody trying to guard him. And I think that the worst version of Tyrese is when he tries to score too much, right? Like I don't mind when Tyrese wants to score at times when he drives to the basket or it's like 2 dribbles and he makes a decision. When he's constantly just dribbling the ball away, pounding the air out of the basketball, trying to get the switch, trying to get the step back, trying to get around somebody. It's just like, okay, this is not Pacer basketball. This is not what he does best. Sometimes he'll bail you out and get a shot at the end of a shot clock. But far too often you'll see the shot clock winding down. He'll take a bad three. It's either an air ball or hits the the front of the rim, whatever. That is not his game. When he's able to get into the paint and spray it out to shooters and get other guys involved, or just, like I said, play rope-a-dope with the defenders and kind of just leave them in limbo trying to figure out which way he's going to go, that's when he's at his best. I mean, Tyrese doesn't have to put up 30 points to make the Pacers win.
He does not.
He can score 14 and dish out 12 assists, and like that is a good Haliburton game. It's not great, but it's a very good game, and sometimes you don't need Haliburton to be great because everybody else around him picked him up in this regard in terms of the scoring load. So yeah, it's just a beautiful thing to see, Facci, and I love it. And I think my favorite thing about a Pacers victory, especially in the playoffs, is just scrolling on Twitter and seeing all of the wonderful geniuses have all these great things to say about the Pacers. Now, let's just start here first with a guy that originally picked the Pacers in round 1, but then flipped it to the Milwaukee Bucks. Our friend Earvin Magic Johnson, former Lakers point guard, Tyrese's idol growing up. His father made him watch a lot of him. He said the Indiana Pacers shocked the world again by beating the New York Knicks 114-109 at home. Earvin Magic Johnson, you are wrong there. They did not shock the world because people thought they could do it. Okay, but we'll continue. Pascal Siakam led the Pacers with 39 points. They are playing great full court pressure defense and excellent team basketball on offense. That's why they're up 2-0 in the series. I'm going to let you respond to that because I've got more to read, but I don't want to just keep reading every tweet.
It's just funny. Look, I mean, I also just love on the other side of things just how happy Pacer fans are. I mean, we've talked about it before. When this team's not living up to their potential, sometimes social media is a dark place. We talked about earlier, people, fire Rick. Who else would we have gotten? There's no other better coach out there for this situation, or just people saying, like, we should have made a move at the deadline. Hey guys, look, we might love this team, but we're not all the experts. All right, let the front office do their thing because right now they got a group together that has the chemistry. They're built, from top to bottom to go on a run, and we don't need to be relying on one guy. I just love the fan base of how excited they are. Like out of everything, I think there's always been this like ceiling above us of like, hey, we're a good team, but like we're just we want to play as long as we can play and have some fun. It ain't about it. It's not fun anymore. Fun is winning a championship, and that is exactly what we can do. We're not just here to be part
This is
of
fun,
the party.
Facci.
This is fun. This is fun. But I'm saying it's not about like the whole like we gave our best. No, it's not.
Yeah.
Pat me on the back. We're going for a championship, man.
It's so fun if they don't make it all the way.
I'm fired up right now. All right. You see this? I got it. All right. I got that milky just jersey right now. Just like I'm doing it, man. I might sleep in the jersey now. I said I wouldn't do it, but I don't want to take this off, man.
How's the pep in the step right now?
The pep in the step is through the roof when you're telling me this is that no team's ever come back from trailing 0-2 at home. This is that pep. This is that we're going to the NBA Finals pep, man. This is what I've waited my whole life for, that type of pep, and tell me if I'm wrong.
Why did it take you so long to bring up the pep in the step, man?
I don't know, man. We started talking about Tony Bradley, for so long, and it just happened. But here we are, and I know after this, I'm going to need to come down from this because I'm going to have to go to bed at some point. But I am through the roof, fired up right now about what I saw. We went into the Garden, and we didn't split. We stole both of them.
Man, just like they did against the Cavs. Like every team that lost to the Pacers and felt bad about their season ending the way that it did, maybe they should reflect and think again because I think they don't realize how good the Pacers are, and maybe they just need to retool a little bit. I think that maybe you just kind of put things in perspective and say, look, we got our butts beat by the best team in the Eastern Conference. That's the bottom line. The Pacers are the best team in the East right now, and they're playing like it. So just a couple of tweets I want to read here. Tony Dungy, former Indianapolis Colts head coach. The Indiana Pacers with another statement win on the road. They are playing very confident basketball right now, and it's been fun to watch. Let's go Pacers. He followed us after the podcast. Jason Gallagher, lifelong Dallas Mavericks fan, said, national media showing up for an Indiana versus Oklahoma City NBA Finals. Isaiah Thomas, the short one, that what did he play? The Celtics, and then he played with the Wizards for a little bit. Who else did he play for? Lakers,
Charlotte Hornets.
He's everywhere.
Cleveland Cavaliers, Lakers. He was just bouncing around.
Okay, he tweeted, Tibbs getting out-coached. This happens to his teams every year. They die out because he doesn't trust his bench. Quinn Cook, Tyrese Haliburton is a top 10 player. I don't care. Bobby Marks, a remarkable 6 straight road playoff win for Indiana. 1 game separated Indiana from New York in the regular season standings since the All-Star break. They're 30-11. This is a DAMN good Pacers team. Victor Oladipo,
Wow.
LOL, let Hallie's pops back in the building.
Nah,
So
respect.
those are those. And then here we go. This is from Ty Windish from the Eurostep podcast. I got the Pacers in 6 in the NBA Finals. They're
Wow.
awesome, and no team this playoffs has been ready for the intensity they bring. Everybody in the rotation is peaking, and Carlisle has his finger on the pulse. They will be underdogs going into the finals, but not for long once games start. That is what I got bookmarked for tonight.
Love it. Hey, Ty, respect. Obviously, look, we've faced off against Ty's team, the Bucks, the last 2 years, and it's never been personal. It's one of those where, hey, we got respect for each other, but it's just so crazy to be like, wow, look, OKC's playing great basketball now, and we still can't write the Knicks off. You got to remember this, guys. I don't want to be the Debbie Downer. I know we're up 2-0. The Knicks were up 2-0 last year, and we came back. Anything's possible. The odds are not in their favor, but we're going back home to Indiana, and that is the difference. Is like this time around, we're going to Indiana. So I think that's a big, big difference. I would be stunned. I'm gonna knock on wood if the Pacers didn't at minimum split. You know how it goes. Game 3, when a team trails 2-0, is typically the hardest game to win. You're getting like a caged animal fighting for its life. But if that crowd is rocking, I need you. I need you to get your little socks out of the dryer, make sure they're clean. I need you to put them on. You gotta have them on. Everyone's gotta do their part. This jersey, I'm gonna be honest, I think it's starting to stink. All right,
Oh,
but
it looks like it's reeking over there.
hey, it's starting to stink a little bit. And the turnarounds and the games, they're getting quicker and quicker. All right, it's like 24 hours
Quick
in between.
wash.
Yeah, so it's like I don't know if my wife's
Take a
got it.
shower in it, Charles Barkley style.
Yeah. I don't know. Maybe we're doing some laundry tomorrow. I don't really know, but like something's got to happen. Otherwise, I'm riding this out because I don't want to change a thing. I'm just trying to do my part.
All right, Facci. So we've already given away our Foster or Feisty Foster player of the games. We gave those to co-players Ben Sheppard and Tony Bradley. Now, I know for the Mel Daniels MVP, there's no question it is Pascal Siakam. For our Reggie Miller clutch player of the game, I think it's pretty easy, but to me, it's got to go to Myles Turner.
I think it's got to go to Turner. That fourth quarter was just, it was awesome.
Sensational.
It really, I mean, look, I don't even have another word to keep going back with you. Magical, sensational, incredible,
Beautiful,
yeah,
breathtaking.
everything you can think of. If I had flowers, I'd be handing them out to Miles right now. What he did in the fourth quarter is
Fresh like a daisy.
fresh like a daisy. Look, this guy hitting free agency. Come on, you ain't going nowhere. All right, keep your bags packed. All right, let's open. Keep them open. You're staying for a while because with Turner and this team, he's so essential to what we want to do, and that was very evident in the fourth quarter. Clutch player of the night, no doubt.
All right, defensive player of the game. Do you have one?
I mean, I think this team battled defensively. I mean, Neesmith's always giving you everything he's got defensively.
Yeah.
You know,
I
what
felt
do
like
you,
him and Nemhard both played pretty good defense
So do
on
I.
Brunson at that times tonight. I would say Neesmith was probably better. I mean, you got Ben Stiller tweeting in the game saying that they're all over Karl Anthony Towns and they're not calling any fouls. This is the first game the Pacers have won when Mark Davis has officiated this season.
That
in the
is
postseason.
true. That is true. I had a Knicks fan tell me like, you guys are only one because you're getting the whistle. I was like, I said that's pathetic. That's pathetic. You guys shot 12 more
That's
free throws than us in game 1, and it was even this game. Don't give me any whistle BS. Like this is Indiana's not getting away with these calls. There's always those type of calls. One goes this way, one goes another way. It happens, but this is not this like Los Angeles Lakers free throw disparity or something like that, where one team shooting 20 more free throws. If anything, through 2 games, like I said, we're still being outshot from the free throw line by 12.
Absolutely, Facci. So there are our player awards, and I think this is going to wrap it up for today's episode. Obviously, we could just keep going and going because who wants to let this good time stop? We're just having a great time, but we know this is a holiday week and there's a lot of things going on. I'm going to have an extremely busy Saturday, so glad to be busy doing that. I'm sure I'll have a podcast for you guys out to preview game number 3 at some point Saturday night. Not sure who is going to be coming on or what we're going to be doing, but with that being said, Facci, any final words you have for the fans after going up 2-0 against the New York Knicks and taking both of them in the Garden?
Soak it in, everybody. We have to appreciate these type of moments for all the times that we have not been in them. It's May 23rd right now. We're not just playing basketball. Don't make any plans because this team is going on an NBA Finals run, and I want to soak in every single minute. I want to watch these highlights again right after this. I don't want it to stop. And hey, while the turnarounds are quick, I just want me some more Pacer basketball. So thank you to everyone that has been tuning in during this playoff run. Like, I can't tell you how much it means to Alex and I. That's like, man, you guys are hungry for content. You're putting in the work. You're like showing up for each and every episode, and that means a lot to us. That keeps us going.
It really does. And you guys are the best. And that's what makes doing this podcast late every night even more worth it. And obviously, on Sunday and Tuesday, the games are at home. So I will be at the games, and that means it's going to be even later for us to record. So thank you guys for your patience there. Obviously, Sunday will be a little bit easier since Monday is a holiday. Could sleep in a little bit. But Tuesday, that's the first day back from a long weekend. Going to be staying up super late. Wednesday morning is going to be coming super early. So if there's no YouTube video right away, understand, because I'm just trying to catch up on my sleep. But with that being said, Facci, thank you, everybody, for joining the Chat BCC group chat tonight. Hopefully you guys enjoyed having the chat basically to take it over yourselves, and we didn't have to do too much tonight. A lot of heavy lifting by a lot of our users in there. So thank you for doing that. But with that being said, Facci, if you're hoping the Pacers get another victory against the New York Knicks at home on Sunday, then hit me with those 3 words.
Let's go, Pacers.